So after their 3-0 win in the Super Cup against Bayern Munich, I think it's only right we pay a little bit of respect to RB Leipzig and their fantastic 4-2-2. It's also been highly requested from you guys in the comments. I do want to quickly say, if you do enjoy the tactic videos on this channel, please do leave a like and keep the comments coming on any tactics you want to see or rebuild requests, and I'll be sure to get that done. But let's go into the testing phase first today and see how we done with RB Leipzig. So we are going to break down the tactic, guys, but first we're going to see quickly how we done with RB Leipzig. It's the whole point of the video. So let's go and see how we done with this amazing German side. We had a very good time in the Bundesliga season with 82 points, playing 34 games, winning 24, drawing 4 and losing 4, but quite a comfortable advantage over Bayern Munich in second place. We dominated 4 of the stat lines when it comes to the team stats in the Bundesliga, being the most points per game, the most goals at 109, quite a big lead in that as well, most shots for at 786, and the most dribbles made coming in at 675. We also did win a DFB Pokal against Hoffenheim on the last game of the season in a 3-2 win, which they actually did get off to a bit of a hot start. Inside of 9 minutes there, you can see they did take the lead. We did bounce back, however, quite quickly after in the 30th minute for some great link-up play there, and I'm really liking this camera angle. You guys can see how well this tactic does create the chances, and again, we absolutely dominated. We really did. Coming down this right-hand side, loads of pressure from Sesko, who squares it across into Timo Werner. At this point, obviously being in the lead, and we go again here with a more direct approach there, up into the young man here, drives it across into Werner, a great finish into the bottom left. They do, however, get a little bit of a consolation goal. We do seal it out, but as you can see there, Galashi with a little bit of an error, but it was a game we deserved to win, as you can see. Yeah, a double winning season, we've got to take it. 3.21 goals per game scored and also conceded at only 1.21. You really can't complain in terms of the stats of this. Obviously, we did concede over that goal sort of margin, which I typically like to keep under. But when we're scoring over 3, we're not going to complain. But let's go over the tactic then, the real reason why you're here. We're going to go over the player instructions first. And we have got some changes coming to these roles, so do stick around to see exactly how this tactic works. It really helps get an understanding for the tactic. We have got 3 variants as well. We're going to cover this one first and pay full attention to this. So we're going to kick things off then with the back 4. Now this is going to be a very well thought back 4. We're going to start off with a sweeper keeper on pretty much the default instructions. In this system, he doesn't need to be too special, if that makes sense. Really, he doesn't need to come out and sweep too much. He also wants to have a little bit about him, because although we're not looking all the time to playing out from the back, having that sort of element in his game is definitely something that is always handy in modern football. The fullback on the right is going to be on support, on cross from deep, run wide with the ball, get further forwards and also stay wider. As you can imagine, in any narrow tactic, your fullbacks are essentially most of your width going to be provided from these guys, so they need to have a really important role in the team, and these instructions work very well with these fullbacks. Next to him is a ball-playing defender on the right, on defend, on the default instructions, and we opted for a central defender next to him because that is personally how I see Leipzig play. Not all of their centre-back options are comfortable on the ball, so therefore we've gone with 1 central defender, 1 ball-playing defender. If you simply are trying to go down a more just get a tactic that works approach and not 100% replicate Leipzig, you could easily get away with 2 ball-playing defenders. And the left fullback is going to be exactly the same as the right-hand side. You can see this one here, or a little bit different, actually, should I say. I do apologise. On the attacking variant, they do remain the same. On this one, the right-hand side obviously has that cross from deep instruction on, whereas this one has dribble more, run wide, get further forwards, and also stay wider. So a little bit varied in terms of the back 4. Obviously, a bit of a mixture from everyone. Fullbacks are a little bit different, but very, very similar, and 2 different centre-back options. So a very, very mixed back 4, but it does work very, very well. When it comes to the sort of 2 deeper midfield players in this tactic, obviously it is going to be a 4-2-2. You got your 4, you got your 2, you got your 2, you got your 2. We actually opted to not have them as pushed up. We're going to have 1 player down here who is going to be a DM, and we are going to have him also on support with these instructions being hold position and tackle harder. Basically going to be a very glued midfield player is a great way to put it. He's going to protect the back 4 and do his job to a very, very high level. And obviously that means we're also going to drop this player here. He's going to instantly go to a deep lying playmaker on support with 1 additional instruction alongside of his default instructions, which are pretty much bang on what you want for a deep lying playmaker. We are going to have tackle harder selected, and these 2 here worked so well. Moving up the team to obviously the 2 sort of attacker midfield players. Now we were going to originally go in with this, a shadow striker and advanced playmaker, but do you know what? It does change slightly because this player here, the advanced playmaker on attack, on get further forwards, roam from position and also move into channels, works so well instead of having one, we're actually going to have two. So we're going to have two players on exactly the same instructions. I simmed about half the season with the Shadow Striker, then the other half of the Advanced Playmaker, and the stats of the players when they were playing in this role with these instructions was so much better. It works really well. And how these instructions, by the way, of the roam from position, the move into channels, are so essential for these player roles. So make sure, if you want to tweak anything, do not tweak that, because these players are so dangerous. They're going to literally get in all sorts of areas of space. They're so hard to track. They're so hard to man mark. And when you've got two of them doing that, it's impossible to defend. And going up top, we are going to have two options. That is going to be a pressing forward on attack on the default instructions. Leipzig always do have that pressing element about them. And next to him, we're going to have an advanced forward on attack, simply on shoot more often. And that is going to give you probably the best 4-2-2 I've ever seen. In terms of the player roles, of course, let's go over to the team instructions. So we're going to start with the in possession tab, and we are going to, by the way, just to make this very clear, it is going to be on the pressing style and the attacker mentality for anyone that is wondering, although you probably would have seen that in the previous sort of presentation there where it was displayed. But we're going to go over the team instructions and explain really why they are set to those. So it is going to be fairly wide in the attack and width. We're then going to opt to have pass into space, a very good option to have with Leipzig because we're definitely not a tiki-taka team, and having this on just helps find those in behind runs really, really well. Obviously, it's a very narrow system, so we are going to look to focus play through the middle. We've pretty much stacked that midfield. We've essentially got, well, we have got 4 players in that role, 2 DMs, 2 slightly more attacking players, and having this on really makes that big difference. In terms of the passing directness, again, can't stress enough, it's not a tiki-taka tactic, so it is going to be set to standard, and the tempo is going to be set to higher. So a very intense tactic. You could probably imagine that being RB Leipzig, they do play with a very high intense pressing style. So having this on is a great way to obviously play like that and replicate their style. We're also going to look to have run at defense on because, again, when we do win the ball back by the high press, we don't just want to sit with it. We want to run at the back line and cause all types of issues. And we're also going to have on mixed crosses because at the end of the day, we've not really got one massive target man. We've got someone who can hit the ball. We've also got some slightly smaller options up top. So have a mix is the perfect option. In terms of the transition tab, it is going to be probably what you would expect. It is going to be counter press. Again, we can't stress enough. We are a counter press inside. We're also going to go on the counter attack, and you can see here what players are going to go forward. The fullbacks are going to absolutely bomb forward. Then playmakers are going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. And also both strikers are going to be in the opposition's face, causing all types of issues. Of course, we are also going to have distributing to the fullbacks and the centre-backs on while taking short goal kicks. A very safe way to play out from the back. Again, we're not too adamant on playing out from the back, but if we are going to, play it to those options there. And in terms of the out of possession tab, guys, it is Leipzig, therefore we are going to rock the higher defensive line. If you are conceding too many goals, don't get me wrong, this is not a tactic that is designed to, concede 0.4. You are going to concede probably around 0.7 on average if you are a powerhouse, probably around 0.9 if you're not a powerhouse. But a higher defensive line is the best way to go because you also are going to score an absolute crap ton of goals. In terms of the trigger press, we're going to completely max this out to much more often. And of course, we're also going to tick on prevent short goalkeeper distribution. But though playing like this, guys, is going to get you some absolute incredible games as this one, as we test with Liverpool as well, in a 9-2 win against Crystal Palace. Nearly put double digits against them, as you're going to see right now. Also a little set piece action nearly coming in there. Thiago picks it up on the edge into Szoboszlai, their new man, and that is why you sign him, because that is what he can do. We absolutely thumped Palace. Obviously, I did mention with this tactic, you can expect to concede the odd goal here and there. But when you're scoring 9, you're never really going to have much of an issue against the Palace team. And you can see now how the goals are getting created. Sometimes it's more direct. Sometimes it comes through shorter pass of play. And that is the great thing about this tactic. It can do pretty much everything. Although we don't officially have wingers in the team, those advanced playmakers do drift out wide, opting to almost look like a winger. So it is a very good way of setting up there. You can see a lot of the goals in this game actually come from that bit more of a direct approach. So it's not a bad thing. Not every tactic has to be a tiki-taka based theme. As you can see now, we had no issues scoring goals. Mo Salah run and riot on the opposition. Crystal Palace, not really their day at all, as we just keep on going with goals upon goals upon goals. The fullbacks getting up there very well into Jota. Another goal going in. Absolutely nothing they can do. Obviously, Crystal Palace, they don't come away empty-handed. They do get a goal here, and I do want to include this because I'm very open with the tactics. If they are going to concede a goal here and there, I'll tell you they're going to concede a goal here and there. In fact, in this occasion, we conceded 2 in quite quick succession, but obviously nothing to affect the scoreline. We absolutely blitzed Crystal Palace realistically, with one more goal coming in the 83rd minute into McAllister, through to Darwin. It would have been a red card. The keeper flumps at it, and it's an easy tap-in. But we are now going to go over the 2 other variants, guys. I'm going to quickly thank all of the Patreons that are coming down the screen right now. These are going to be new or existing Patreon members. Patreon is a great way to get some cool perks for yourselves, including access to all 3 of these files in one simple download. You get early video and tactic release. You get priority in your rebuild and tactic requests. You also get one-on-one tactical help and much more. If you do want to check it out, you can click the link in the description. It'll mean the absolute world. But let's go ahead and talk about the attacking and defensive variants right now. So with the attacking variant, guys, in terms of the actual player roles, it is going to look very similar, and that's because the 4-2-2 is already a very attacking formation. But we have made one key change, and that is going to be the Volante does come in on support, on take more risks, dribble more, and also tackle harder. Just add a little bit more of a creative spark in that midfield. Instead of the DM obviously protecting the back 4, we've just upgraded them a little bit to push a little bit higher and create some chances. The big change does come in the team instructions, so it is still going to be on an attacking mentality. It's still going to be on fairly wide, but the big change is now going to be the be more expressive is the first big change, and also the overlap and fullbacks makes all the difference. They get really involved, obviously, on the left and on the right. Absolute scenes. They go forward, they create endless chances. That is the real key change in this tab. In transition, not too much to talk about. The only change is going to be simply distribute quickly. And in terms of the out of possession, again, the much higher line was a little bit too much, to be honest with you. So the only change to make it a little bit more aggressive is going to be get stuck in. But I did use the attack and variant through the entire season of this tactic test with Bayern Munich, and we absolutely thumped the German division with 89 points over Hoffenheim, coming in at a very, very low 60. Winning 28 games, drawing 5 and only losing 1, making it very close to being an invincible season. In terms of the actual team stats, we picked up the most points at 2.62, most goals at 138, most shots at 871, the fewest shots at 184, most dribbles at 784, and also the most clean sheets, and obviously the fewest conceded. Several trophies also come back alongside of that Bundesliga title, being a 4-0 win in the Champions League over Real Madrid, a 7-1 win in the DFB Pokal against Dortmund, and a 5-2 win over current Super Cup champions RB Leipzig. I'll quickly throw it in there, consider it is in the title. With this team on attacking, we actually managed to outscore 4 goals a game, 4.06. That is mental. Going over to the defensive variant, there are going to be a few changes, as you can see from the player roles. So both of the advanced playmakers are going to be on support now, simply on roam from position and also move into channels. They're both going to do exactly the same as what the other 2 variants do, but just a lot more of a restricted rate, basically. They're going to be a lot more calm, not as attacking, and be willing to sort of drop back when and if needed. The real big change is going to be these 2 defensive midfielders now. A DM on defend, on tackle harder, and a deep line playmaker really does come back a peg or 2. He gets put on defend, simply on tackle harder, meaning we've got 2 players there to protect the back 4, which, by the way, has got some changes as well. The fullbacks are now going to be simply on default support, either side exactly the same. So we've got a really defensive back 4, 2 players to protect them, and then sort of 2 strikers that are still really attacking, and 2 sort of hybrids that are just going to drift all around the field here, pick up the ball and create for those 2 up top. Go up for a positive mentality, but in terms of in possession, we're going to have fairly wide pass into space. We're going to focus play through the middle still. We've taken off the overlap left and the right, which we had on the attacking variant. We've got slightly shorter, still got the higher tempo, but we are now going to slowly introduce a little bit of time wasting on some times, and we're also going to play for set pieces. In transition, we've actually taken off the counter press, taken a little bit more of a calmer style to the game, and we've also added on slow pace down. And in terms of the out of possession, we have dropped that line to a standard line, still got the high press and line of engagement, we've still got a lot on the trigger press and still applying a lot of pressure on the goalkeeper, but we just dropped the line a little bit to be a little bit more of a balanced team and defend more solidly. But that is going to give you guys 3 very good variants of Leipzig's 4-2-2, a very popular request from you guys, so hopefully the video has lived up to the hype. And if you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like, drop a little subscription and hit that notification bell. And by the way, I forgot to post about it, but thank you so much for 12k. Here's on to 13k. Let's keep the ball rolling. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.